Our next Illustrator assignment has to do, once again, with text. And this one is an assignment where you kind of build letters yourself, and you don't really use the type tool to do it. So I'm going to show you a little run through, and you can come up with anything similar. It'll be fine. I'm going to click Create New, and I'm going to go to Print. I usually do Print, Letter, Landscape, and I'll click Create. And a little rattle on the microphone there, sorry. Now again, I'm not going to use the type tool this time. I'm going to use some shape tools. I may go ahead and get my Pathfinder panel out here because I think I'm going to use the Pathfinder. I might use the pen tool a little bit. What I'm going to ask you to do here is create something that has at least 3 letters. Maybe you could use your initials with your first, middle, and last name, or you could do USA or some abbreviation or something. At least 3 letters. I think I'm actually going to do 4. Here we go. I'm going to do PCMS. I'll start by using the rectangle tool and just draw, and I'm going to build the letter myself. So I'll just draw the stem of the P here. And now what I'm going to do is work on the other part of the P. I'll draw a circle, and I'll go grab the rectangle tool and overlay a rectangle on top of part of that circle. I'm going to select those and do a minus front, and it leaves me with a shape like that. It's a half circle. That's something we've seen before. I could elongate that a little bit. And I'm going to park that over the stem that I made a moment ago, and I think I'll take those and unite those together. So now that's the basic part of my letter P here, but now I'm going to work on a little bit more. I want a cutout for the inside of the top of the P. You know how that works, right? So I'm going to make another circle with another rectangle kind of overlapping it. Probably could have copied and pasted a moment ago or Alt-drag, but I'll do a minus front right there, and that gives me another little shape like this, which I could lay right on there. Look at that. I constructed that letter myself, made it out of shapes, and that's the kind of thing I want you to do. Now I could also, this is actually 2 shapes here. I could also take this and do a minus front right now and just kind of poke a hole in that. Let's go get some, I don't know, let's go get some bright colors to color this with. I'll just color this one with I'm not using school colors necessarily, but that's okay. All right, so that's one letter. Let's take a look at some ideas for some other letters, and you can use your imagination a little bit. You can do it almost any way you want. I'm going to make a circle here, and then I'll draw kind of another circle that I will take, and just so you can see the difference, I'll take this circle and I'll put it like right about there. It's not perfectly centered, but that's okay with me. I'm going to select that, and I'm going to do a minus front. So I just cut a hole in that circle. Looks like a donut now. And what I'm going to do here is I'm making the letter C, so I want to cut a certain part of that out. I'm going to take just the pen tool and just make just a rough shape here. It doesn't really matter. I want it to cross over that letter C. Watch what I'm going to do there. You see I just wanted to overlay part of that letter C, because what I'm going to do is do a minus front once again and just cut away part of that letter C, and there we go. Got it. Cool. All right. Let's keep going. Now, when I get to the letter M, I'm going to use the pen tool here. I'm just going to do some anchors. Gosh, I got a panel in my way. I want to move that panel. Fortunately, Illustrator allows me to do that. So I'm going to just kind of bounce around here, dropping anchors where I want them to be. When you build your letters on this assignment, don't worry about perfection. They don't have to be perfect. Mine are not perfect. They're a little bit off, but all I did there to make that letter M was to drop anchor points at different places. I'm going to come along and color these. I'm going to get a variety of colors going just because I feel like it. All right. And they could overlap a little bit if you wanted them to. That's kind of fun sometimes as well. So part of the fun of doing letters like this, doing lettering like this, is that it doesn't really look like a font. It looks a little bit more, hand-drawn, which is actually kind of what it is. All right, I want to make an S here real quick, and I'm going to use the pen tool to help me with that. So I'm just dropping some anchors here, kind of like a lightning bolt, zigzag, zigzag. I'll come across here. I'm going to come up this way. I'm going to drop in here. I'm going to come up this way. And then I'm going to go back to where I started, so I close that shape up. And I could leave it like that. It looks like Roman letters that were chinked into stone with a chisel or something like that. It's not terrible, right? But I might take the white arrow tool and select a couple of anchors right there and convert those to curves, and then take a couple of anchors right there and convert those to curves. This is a matter of just kind of playing around and using some things you know in Adobe Illustrator and see what you can do. And I'm going to stretch that S out a little bit. And another part of the fun here is just customizing a little, right? I'm using the white arrow, and I'm stretching anchors, moving anchors around, stretching the letters out a little bit, just kind of making it look different. Just use your imagination a bit, right? Look, I did it. That's an artboard. It says PCMS. Now, when you're connected to the remote desktop, if you click File and Save As, if you do that, if in my other video I showed you the Google Drive file stream. If you connect to that, you'd be able to go File and Save As right here, and then look over on this PC on the side, and your Google Drive will be listed right here, and you would be able to save your work on your Google Drive, and that might be real handy. If not, I mean, if you're connected to the remote desktop, you could. I can't do it right now because I don't have that connection, but you could save your work on your network drive and then turn it in from there. Or you could, like I say, if you connected that Google Drive file stream thing that I showed you in the other movie, that you could save it on your Google Drive, and that could be really handy. All right. Anyway. Wherever you're going to save it, make sure that you save it. Pay attention to where you save it. And you could just call this something like Type 2. And that's our assignment of the day. There we go.